I realized that's not what I want. So I switched then to other technologies, started from zero, and worked my way up to something else. So this is the answer to you. For you, you might want a specific things and pursue it and achieve it. For others, they might explore and change and do different stuff. And an example for this, as I was young, as a student, I think I was 19 years old, or 20, might be. I was doing translating for an Austrian company, so from German to Bulgarian, and an older guy from Austria, and I was studying telecommunications, and an older guy from Austria told me, Stoyan, you know what, don't want to disappoint you, but only 20% of the graduates statistically are working on that, what they've really studied on. So, example, I studied telecommunications, only 20% of my colleagues will do really jobs which are related to telecommunications after they graduate. And I was telling him, no way, Carol, his name was Carol, no way, I'm going to do this and this, I love it, I like it, I will do this. I was so certain. 2 years later, I was somewhere else. So, you see how life plays a game with you? It might be that you need to explore a bit in order to know, okay, this is my thing. Just try to not to over-explore, not spend many years in exploring, because at some point you might end it in a phase where everybody is already a specialist in something and you're still exploring. So you need to balance it out.
Yeah, and one more. What are your thoughts on long-term motivation and short-term motivations?
Short-term motivations.
It's like, for example, we get motivated for a day and we are not able to get again motivated in the next day for doing the same task. So this is the phase we face. This is something we face during our college life.
So I try to set my small goals every day, and I try to achieve them. And when I say when I've gotten to this, then I'm okay. And every day, it was hard for me at the university, to be honest, because there is so much theory. Really, we had a blackboard. We didn't have in Bulgaria, or we didn't have any screens, and the professors were just writing formulas and stuff which I not always understood, and I didn't understand the meaning of it. But this gives you the basic, the way you think. This develops your thinking. You might not know it now, but you will know it later. So you need to just try to be hard, get over it, and at some point you get to do what you love. You just need to say, okay, today I'll visit all the courses, I'll do my best to prepare for the exam, and after I've taken the exam, I reward myself with a small trip, or with going out somewhere, or a nice restaurant, or something like this. And then you set the next goal. This is the next exam, I'll do this, I'll prepare. So try to stay on focus and achieve your goals. I don't say it's easy. You have to fight for it. But that's part of the life. We need to fight.
That's all. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys?
Sir, we'll have session. Sir. Sir, the time is exceeding. We'll have the Q&A after the session.
Okay, cool. If I can answer your questions afterwards, then I'll be more than happy. Thanks once again for your attention, and enjoy the rest of the sessions. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Your expertise and valuable perspectives have truly enriched us.
I request Jakob to introduce Mr. Lalit Rawat sir, a distinguished guest whose presence enriches our event.
Our next speaker, Sir Lalit Rawat, is a cloud solution architect.
Sorry. I warmly welcome Afsa to introduce two esteemed guests, Mr. Morton Knudsen and Ms. Caroline Walter, whose presence adds great value to our gathering.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next distinguished speaker, Morton Knudsen, has been a pioneer in the IT industry since 1991 and has worked with Microsoft Technologies since 1994. Over the years, he has led transformational projects and driven innovation across multiple IT domains. In 2003, he founded Mindset, a Microsoft consulting firm that quickly rose to prominence, growing to 70 employees across 5 locations, including Hong Kong. Under his leadership, the company achieved multiple Microsoft Partner Awards, including Infrastructure Partner of the Year, Best Customer Satisfaction, reinforcing its reputation as an industry leader. In 2016, he sold Mindset and transitioned into freelancing consulting, where he continues to guide businesses in cloud adoption, security, and IT strategy. Today, sir will present a very special session titled Growing Up with a Dad in IT, where he, alongside his daughter, will perform a personal insightful perspective on how a career in technology impacts both family and professional life.
Is it okay with you if we keep your laptop here?
Joining Morton Knudsen in this unique session is Caroline Walter from Tech Hudson and Washington Academy, Denmark. She has a distinguished viewpoint of the intersection of family, technology, and career goals. Having grown up in a household deeply immersed in the IT world, in today's session, Growing Up with a Dad in IT, she will share personal experiences and reflections on how the fast-paced and ever-evolving IT industry shaped her upbringing, career aspirations, and perspectives on technology. This promises to be an engaging and thought-provoking discussion, offering insights not just into IT careers, but also into the human side of working in technology. Please join me in welcoming
Yeah, but it needs to be over here.
डायरेक्शन जास्त करणार आहे तो थोडं सेंटर साइड
All right. You awake now? All right. Thank you very much. This is actually fantastic to be here today. And actually, Stoyan and I, we didn't really talk about what we were going to talk about. So, okay, we lost the screen. All right, so while they're working on the screen right now, I don't know what is going on here. We were actually just having a fantastic session. Did you like it with Stoyan? Please give him a round of applause. All right. I enjoyed it very much, my friend, so really good. And our topic here is actually kind of in a similar way. So what we have here prepared is a session that is actually covered in 3 steps. And it is covering parts of what we just heard, but in a different way as well. So I hope that it will add to the story as well. A little bit of myself. I am 51 right now, and I am a Microsoft MVP. And I'm actually a dual MVP. So I am an MVP both in the Azure area and also in the security area. So I have 2 certifications there. I had a company that was named Mindset that I sold when I was 43 years old. It had 75 employees based in 5 different locations, including Hong Kong as an example. I am a co-founder of Experts Live Denmark, I'm part of the Global Experts Live organization, and I'm also preparing a big event that we have in Denmark in a couple of weeks from now. These are my contacts. At the very end, we will also show a QR code where you can connect with us after this. So again, this session here is split into 3 different categories or sections here. First of all, I will be touching on that we need to understand that working in IT and succeeding in IT is more or less just 20% about technology. And we just heard about that in Storian's session as well, and I will touch on that area as well. Caroline will also be touching on how she has been learning from being in a family where having a dad in IT. And lastly, I would like to show information about a program called Microsoft Student Ambassador Program. How many of you have heard about that program? Anyone? A few here? All right. Well, I hope that we have some interesting things for you here. So, going back to the introduction here, I will be showing some QR codes, and please have your phone ready so that you can grab these QR codes while we will be showing them if you want to be having more information about these topics here. All right? So, what I want to say here is that technology, working in IT and succeeding in IT is not only about, technology. So what I encourage you is to understand that these areas here is coming from our passion, our hobbies, our interest, and it is about, we have to have the passion in order for us to succeed with IT. But there are a lot of other factors that we need to have in place. And Storian covered the personal things, which is very, very important. But I also want to highlight some of the factors that will impact you guys once you come out and get a job in IT world. Because there are a lot of factors that you don't really have the impact, you cannot influence. But we need to understand and we need to adapt to. So again, working in IT and succeeding in IT is very much about, working smarter, not harder. And in the world where we have a lot of changes coming in the IT world, it is also very important that you are learning things that will take you maybe 4 years to complete. But we need to accept that since the world is changing, we need to be able to throw out what we learned during the university time and adapt to the new things that we need to learn. And that can be really hard for us to accept, but we need to always be ready to throw out what we learned and keep learning and keep adapting to the changing world. And that is how I actually learned it. I have never went to an IT university. I started in IT when I was 17 years old. I had the first IT job. And I was working I was a student at the same time doing a business program. And while I was working during this education, I was having a part-time IT job. And I was hired and I succeeded doing that. And when I was 24 years old, I had 45 people working under me in my department. So I have been in IT for 34 years. Right now, I started when I was 17. And I've been keeping learning every single day and trying to adapt to the changing world. And that can be somewhat confusing. I remember 1 year ago, we were doing a similar presentation in Jaipur, and there was a brave girl in the room asking, I really want to learn security. How do I do that? How do I both learn all the different areas of security, getting the fundamental stuff in place, while also specializing? Because since this world is changing so rapidly, We both need to be a generalist in order for us to know these different areas, but we also need to become a specialist. Every Friday, I receive an email from Microsoft telling me about what new features has been released in Azure this week. Every week. When I started working in IT, the Windows version, it was released every 5 years. So I had 5 years to get to know this new product. And now I get new features every week. So we are working in a world where you might end up in a situation that once you come out, when you complete your school, the things that you actually were taught is not, the state of the art anymore. So we need to be able to throw out those things and adapt consistently to all these different things. All right. Again, as Dorian was pointing out, it is very important to be minded about learning, getting to know people, and be open-minded when it comes to that. Another thing which I think is very important is about understanding the organization maturity and the processes that you're coming out to. Because it doesn't make any sense if you are coming out and you want to solve a problem with AI as an example, but you really don't understand the organization that you are part of or the internal processes that are running within the company. Then it is very important that we need to consistently adapt to these changes all the time. And once the organization matures and the processes matures, you can add more value to the solution. Another thing which I think is very important is your ability to do networking. Because as Dorian was pointing out, we succeed when we are in a group. And you need to be able to speak to people. You need to be able to understand their problems. You need to understand the culture if you're working in an international company. You need to be able to network and be engaging with people. And that can be somewhat a challenge for some of you if you are an introvert. But I really encourage you to improve and work with your networking skills. And Caroline will also cover this in a few minutes as well. Communication skills. You should think that you looked at our slide or we looked at your slide, because there are a lot of things here which are the same. And you're listening to two people that have been in the game for many years. So this is very important, guys, that we need to understand these things. All right. One of the things that I really like about being part of the community is the ability to share my knowledge and to give back to the community. And that is something that I will be touching on later in this presentation as well, which is something where I really encourage you guys to take part as well. Family and spare time, handle your own life cycle in life. That is also very important. You guys are right now young. You don't have any, maybe you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, and we are growing in the life. Maybe at some point you get a husband, you get a wife, and you have to get kids. So we are going through different steps in our lifestyle. Right now I have some teenagers here, 17 and 16, sitting here in front of us. And they are growing up and want to conquer the world. And this is where we are going through different steps of our life. All right. So another way to show this is that if you look at this screen here, you will see in the middle the things that you can actually influence. And all the other things on the outside are things that you cannot influence. And those are very important things that we need to understand. It all comes back to the interest and the passion that you have. So if you have the interest and the passion, you can learn everything. So you cannot just, if you have you have to have the passion inside your life, and that will give you some more knowledge to this. it is, as is mentioned, the communication skills, the people skills, the networking skills. We need to find our place in the family once we are in the family, and the learning and the sharing. These are the things that you guys can influence. But if you look at the outside here, the things that you cannot influence, that we need to adapt to, are the technology changes, the culture changes, the processes and maturity, the organization changes, and the constant changes. So all these things are something that we need to understand and adapt to. So again, this is just to set the scene that there are a lot of things that you guys can influence, and I encourage you to work with those topics. And I don't want to, again, mention all the things that Storian did a fantastic job saying, but we need to understand that there are a lot of things that we cannot influence. All right, moving on to this, I want to hand it over to Caroline, 17 years old.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me here today. So my name is Caroline, as my dad said, and I'm 17 years old. And I finished high school in Denmark in 2023 and decided I wanted to study in the US. So I moved to the US right after high school. And I did 1 year of exchange in the US. And I just completely fell in love with it and decided that I wanted to go back. So right now I'm finishing high school, American high school, online. And I'll be going to college or university next year in the US, or like here in August. I'm currently working 4 jobs. I'm working at 2 different bakeries, and I'm working at like a consultancy firm called The Tech House. And then I have an internship at like an international company that works with African projects and stuff called Sam Nordic. So just wanting to learn, wanting to grow, continuously just asking questions and growing with them. I think something that I definitely learned from having a dad in IT and a mom very involved in that as well is this down here, the 5 buckets, as you call it, on how to like succeed in certain things. I think your knowledge and your skills is actually only a small part of it, as my dad is going to talk about, but just your network, your resources, and your reputation is actually a huge, huge part of it. If you have, like, network is crucial. Network is so important. Network is key in this. And your reputation and the people you know is going to be crucial for your career. And I think that's something that's one of the big takeaways I take from having a dad. And I'd see in like just 2 very successful parents who both have their own companies. That's something I've really learned, that not only like your skills is not that valuable if you can't like put it into your work, and if you don't have this big network or the resources to put your skills to work. So that's definitely something I've learned, and I think that's definitely something that's important to me, like asking questions and like having the knowledge about how to succeed in certain areas. IT is definitely a people sport. And as I said, networking is crucial. Networking is key. I myself am growing my network right now. I'm only 17, so I've been a student I've gone to school, I'm still in school. So I haven't been in the workplace for very long, but having been there for like half a year, I've definitely seen how important, like really, really important networking is. My parents, especially my dad, through IT, has a massive network, especially on LinkedIn. LinkedIn connections is very, very important, and it's going to get you very far. And my dad just reaches out to people. Like, we travel a lot with both of my parents, and he just reaches out to people he don't know, like just on LinkedIn. Maybe have the same like work, or might be MVPs. Like, we just went to Egypt a few months ago, and he just reached out to a guy who worked for Microsoft there, and it was just like we went with him on a tour, and we learned a lot about Egypt and the culture and the history and stuff. And it's just like you learn so much from having these connections, and so many like opportunities can can occur from having the right connections. That's very important. That's something I've at least learned, both from my parents and from working and stuff. I actually got all of my jobs through network, both from my own network, but also my parents' network. The two bakeries, my mom's friend who got me those jobs, and then Tech House, my dad had actually worked there and knew the owners, and he talked to him and was like, Caroline, she's skilled in this and this and that, like, do you want to have her for an interview and maybe hire her? And I had an interview with them, and I was hired the day after. And then for my internship, I reached out to an old classmate I had went to school with in Denmark, and he actually got me an internship in this international company. So that's great, and that just really shows that through network you will get like really far if you know the right people. Like the right network is crucial. Actually, yeah, also the network part, this is actually my host family that I lived with in the US. So I did an exchange program in the US where I was an exchange student, and you get to live with a host family. And usually the process is that they have to choose you, and you don't actually get to know the family, but through my dad's network, and he worked with a woman, Christina here, and she worked for Microsoft, and they worked on some kind of project together, and she actually just reached out, and they were talking about how I needed a host family and I was going to do the program, and she reached out and she was like, we actually really want to host your daughter if you're up for that. And I immediately we had a FaceTime call with them, and I completely just fell in love with the family, and it was amazing. And like I get to know them before actually leaving and going to the US and starting it. So that was just incredible, and that just really shows like the power of like network and community, and how he knew the right people, and I therefore ended up in the right family, and that was crucial for my experience in the US, and that was just amazing. So that's something you can take into consideration with like the right network, know the right people. Getting involved with communities is also so important, like especially in the technological world, in the IT world, community is so powerful. You help each other. That's at least something I've seen, especially with my dad, how a lot of people reaches out to him and he reaches out to them, and it's like, could you help me with this? Could you help me with that? And he has a lot of people reaching out like, can you teach me this? Can you be my mentor? As stuff. So I think that's just like, here's the different pictures from all over the world. Here's in Egypt where he reached out to this guy, and we got a tour of many like historical things, and he told us a lot about the country and the food and stuff. And this is actually just the other day in Nepal, where we met with some other Microsoft MVPs as well. And it's just like a great way to make new friends and learn about other cultures. That's something we value a lot as a family. And just like learning different cultures and like how people view certain things. That's really just like community, I think. That's something that defines it, how people just meet and share cultures and share different ideas and stuff. And we just love to travel and explore the world, and that's something that we definitely got like through different communities. Like we got to see a lot of the world and just explore it and stuff. So that's just been amazing. And as well, just here with the power of community, getting involved is just very, very important. I'm involved with many different communities, both at school, through sports, through different workplaces, like when I work a lot of places. So just growing your network and getting involved is very, very important, just like Stoyan said and like my dad said. Saying yes, getting involved, it will grow your like many opportunities will come from that, I think. They did for me. I got like a lot of great opportunities came from just saying yes and getting involved and showing up and being interested in the work you do and the people around you. And something I've learned as well is just sometimes you have to give without the need to get something back, and investing your time I think, yeah, it's really like that's my dad does it a lot with just like being here and investing his time, showing up for people who want to learn, and that's just amazing. Like investing your time without necessarily needing to get something back or getting money or getting something from it is just it. Yeah, it's just showing love to your community, showing love to the people you work with and who care about you. And family as well. Having like family has to invest sometimes as well, because IT is definitely a family sport. We're a very, very close family. We travel a lot, and I think a lot of the things we do involves around like my parents' jobs and IT. Something like you have to be very very like aware of, at least, is the different phases in life. There's a lot of different like changing priorities all the time. You can be single and then you can work 80 to 100 hours a week. Then you might get a boyfriend or a girlfriend and maybe get married later on, and then you probably have to be home a bit more. Then you can't just be out all day sitting and just working all day. Then eventually you probably get kids, and in the first few years you have small kids. You probably have to be home a lot and not be working as much. And I think especially for like a lot of women, also men, but especially a lot of women who probably has to stay home with the kids, that's at least something I'm very aware of. I'm only 17, so I won't have kids in the near future. But just being aware of like the changing priorities in your life, and how, like we're big now. Me and my brother, we're big kids, so my parents can work more than when we were smaller kids, and that's something I think a lot of people, a lot of you, should just be aware of. That while you're single, you're young, you can work as much as you want. You don't really have as many responsibilities. You don't have to be home at a certain time. You don't have to like. You know, you can choose for yourself. But yeah, throughout different phases, priorities will definitely change. And yeah, like it's just definitely like Stoyan said, career is not everything. And I myself work a lot, but I also prioritize being at home and with my friends. Like I'll leave my home country in 6 months. Like I have to prioritize being with the people I love as well. Yeah, like my parents both had their own companies and they always worked a lot. So me and my brother also was used to like nannies growing up and them not being home as much. But my mom took off many years or a few years to take care of us and stuff. So I think that's something you should be aware of. But you guys are young, so you guys are probably still you have time, you know. But yeah, just family is so important, and that's something you should be very aware of, and just spending time with your family, because career is not everything. And yeah, just taking care of the people you love, because that's the most important thing.
All right. Thank you very much. Give a big round of applause. Very proud of you. All right, so there were a lot of great things here. Actually, I want to just, let me just go back here. I want to show this picture here. This is actually a sacrifice thing, because I was preparing to do some community stuff, and this is actually our dinner table. And I had to send a picture to my wife saying, well, we have to find somewhere else to do the dinner tonight, because I just took over the dinner table because of community work here. So this is, I would say, a small sacrifice, but this is just how we adapt to this along the way. So, all right. So, so we would like to finish up by focusing on how you guys can get involved in community. And there are, of course, lots of ways that you can do that. And I would like to start by saying thank you to the ones that are writing me on LinkedIn asking for career tips, mentoring tips. Please continue to do that. And I'm sure that I haven't agreed with Stoyan, but I'm sure that if you write him as well, just keep writing because we would like to help. So just keep that in mind. We have all been where you guys are right now, okay? So I bet that you have more questions than answers right now. So there are a lot of, concerns and questions that you might have. But I also want to give a little insight to a program, and there are tons of programs out there, but I have a Microsoft tattoo, so I will show you the Microsoft program here, which is called the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program. And this is something that you guys can actually become involved in. And I have actually taken and asked an Indian guy to make a little video for us to show. So you can actually hear from a local guy in India how he has used the Microsoft Learn program. And he is 23 years old right now. He has been in the program for 4 years right now. So he started doing community work when he was 19. So, there's some work with this that comes along. But what he has been doing is that he has become a leader now, a community leader that actually invites people doing sessions, inviting people into the community and try to engage with everyone. So I think we should, and hopefully the sound will work, so we should move on to this. And we need some sound. We need some sound.
Hi everyone, I am Tokir. I'm a Gold Microsoft Student Ambassador from the India region. I do lead, advocate, and all the student evangelist and technology evangelist around the India space and hustle around the MLSA community. So there had been some questions around, like people asking like what I have gained and how do I contribute. So I'll be explaining you how I do, like what I have gained and how do I contribute to the program, right? So getting the first question. So what I have gained a humongous sort of things from the community and the program, right? I have not only gained the peers network and the tech evangelism skills, but also it helped me to be a leader and a collaborator. So you can see from the space itself, I had been leading the India region and it helped me to grow as a leader. So this has had been so much precious thing from the community from this program. And obviously the peers I get to know from the Microsoft Learn team have been so great and helped me to learn a lot of stuff around. And that joined tech evangelism and the skills helped me to gain a lot of job and helped me to get into the several roles and responsibilities. So the second question, like how do I contribute? So I'll be saying like it's too much easy for me, and yeah, also like streamline for me, like I go ahead, check out the things, how people can contribute and get into the things like what they need right now. I host a couple of workshops or tech evangelism meeting or a meetup where the core product people, students, innovators, collaborators can get into that space and connect with them, learn with each other, and yeah, have a talk. And obviously, and these network things help them to grow, not only to grow but gain a lot of stuff around like knowledge, space, and exactly the confidence. So I'll be saying this again to all the students and all the innovators who are watching this video to just don't wait, get into the program today, and yeah, go ahead and build your community around and lead it. Be a collaborator, be a leader. We all at together at Microsoft Leadership program say that B a 4-4? Good. Ta-da!
All right. Very good. So I have another video here, which is one of my friends in Denmark. His name is Niklas. And he is also a gold student ambassador. So if you see on the right, similar to Take, he was also a gold, and which is the highest. So what does this mean? This is actually something that can improve your job situation, because this is something that can help you. And as he was just mentioning, he is having so many jobs out of this. And the same goes with Niklas here. Niklas is 21 years old. He has been part of the program and he has already become the gold. Right now, Niklas has been nominated to become a Microsoft MVP. How many Microsoft MVPs does exist on the world? And that is the top certification you can get. There are 4,000 of us in the world. And Niklas, 21 years old, he has been nominated by the product team to become an MVP. So let's hear his story.
Welcome to this quick video about my journey as a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. First of all, my name is Niklas Olsen and I'm 21 years old. I'm a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and I've now been a Microsoft Student Ambassador for over a year now, and I'm currently at the gold milestone. And I'm very passionate about Microsoft Intune, and this is where I would lay all my time if I was allowed to. Besides that, I'm also running a blog called learnintune.net, where I blog about Microsoft Intune. So just to start off with some of my highlights as being a part of the program, I had my first in-person talk at an event in Manchester in UK last year, where I was talking about Microsoft Intune together with one of my many mentors and Microsoft MVP called Rudy. And I asked him if he wanted to do an in-person session with me, and he quickly said yes. So we submitted a session and did the session quickly after that. Another thing that I would like to mention in my journey is that I've been to numerous amount of events. I've been in the US, and I've also been to an event in Denmark, and I've met a lot of great people. I've met Microsoft employees, I've met Microsoft MVPs, I've also met just regular people in the community, and you might recognize one from one of my journeys here. This is Morten, and you probably know him already. But yeah, that's just some of the things that I've experienced the last year. So just to sum up what I've experienced. So I've organized virtual events as being a part of the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors. I'm a community leader in 4 different communities. I'm a founder of Microsoft Next Gen Heroes together with 2 other MLSAs. I've advanced from new to gold milestone in the MLSA program, and I've had my first in-person event, and I've had the chance to speak at other virtual events as well, and then I've got the chance to write blogs on my own side, but also on tech community. And last but not least, I've had an Intune series on Microsoft Reactor together with another MVP. And this is all that has happened the last year, being a part of the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program. And this is just a chance for you to grow, but also to figure out what your passion is in the IT community. But the best of all things is definitely to be a part of the great community and contribute to the community.
All right. Thank you very much for Niklas. So again, some key takeaway from his presentation here. It comes from the passion. Find your passion to what is important to you and what you are interested in, and try to involve in the community. And there are lots of ways that we can involve. We can write blogs, we can do presentations, we can do workshops, and we can be speaking. There are lots of ways that we can engage with this. And again, we would be more than happy to help if you have any questions or you want to get started with this. So again, this is a great way for you to get engaged. And I want to highlight one last slide here around the community stuff. There's a QR code here, which is for the this session here. And the director, Pablo, is in this session. Nicholas is in session here. And some of my other good friends are in this session here. So if you have 1 hour and you're interested, spend it, watch this video here, this YouTube here, which is an episode around this program at the very bottom. Okay, and lastly, there's a URL at the bottom. I ran out of place for QR codes on this slide, so you have to take a picture on this one here. All right, so again, wrapping up about this here, I think this is very important. I have met a lot of students that get involved in the student ambassador, but they drop out. They drop out because they don't have the passion. They think this is something that they want to do and they should do it, but they really don't have the passion. So this is something that can help you on your job situation. This is something that can help you to get engaged in the community. This is something that can help you to get a bigger network. How many of you are using LinkedIn today? Fantastic. I am so happy to see that high number of hands. This is very important, guys. I would say LinkedIn is probably the #1 platform for me. I have 12,000 followers, and I get around 100 a week on LinkedIn. And I'm really, really happy to spend a lot of time there and getting feedback to you guys about a lot of different things. And so I'm really happy to see it. And Caroline also has LinkedIn. My dad, he is 80 years old. He came to me 1 year ago saying, Morten, I want to get hooked onto this platform, LinkedIn. The people are talking about it all the time. I want to engage there as well. He's 80 years old, so it's never too late, guys. So again, please continue growing your network. Ask for help. We don't know all the answers to this, all these questions here. Learn from your other peers along the way. And again, don't be afraid of the and myself. So please connect with us if you're interested, and we'll be more than happy to help. One thing actually. So before going into the finishing up, I brought some things here from Denmark, and I would like my wife and my son Magnus to help in this matter here. So we have brought some giveaways here, some swags, and we like swags in IT, right? So I have 4 optimists. This is a small thing. It's kind of a jiggling thing. So, and on the side here says, make every day a little more joyful. So this is a little thing. So give me your the first 3 that ask a questions, or 4 actually, they get one of these. So anyone that wants to ask a question? I think this gentleman over here was the first one. I don't know if you can help him with the mic.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Now, as we are stunned to know that she's just been 17, so I would like to ask, were there her perspectives that made you change your beliefs and approaches in the IT realm until now?
I would say that I keep learning every day. Yes. And I think getting different angles to a story or different angles to a view can continuously improve my way of working and my way of approaching. So I think it is very important for us to discuss these things, and see different things. So young people, Caroline, Magnus, they bring a lot to the table and keeps changing my mind as well.
So have you made any changes in your approaches currently?
I think I can't come up with a thing where I have changed, but maybe the way that I think something are being demonstrated about being honest, about taking responsibility. This is something that we have highlighted always in our family. And today, what is important is that Caroline, she goes out, and the same goes with Magnus, and take big responsibility if they see some issues. And that is where I would say that I get confident about that we taught them the right thing. So again, another thing I want to highlight is that when I hired people in Mindset, actually the name Mindset, it's how we do IT, or it's how we do it. So for me, what is important is that I wanted to get the right people with the right mindset that were honest, that took responsibility, they were professional, they were continuously wanting to learning. I didn't hire the ones that were the very best at VMware or Hyper-V or networking, because I could teach them that. I could not teach them to be honest. So again, the values are very, very important for me. And that is something that we have tried to teach our kids.
Thank you, sir.
Give this. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. As Caroline said, that continuous networking is plays a major role in the career success and growth. So how can introverts can leverage it effectively?
Yeah. This is actually a very good question. And I'm probably not the best one to answer the question, because I'm an extrovert myself, so I like to engage. But maybe Caroline, you can talk about.
I don't know. I'm very extroverted as well, but I do have a lot of friends that are very introvert and very don't want to speak to people and can't really get out there. I think if you're passionate about something, and you're very confident in the knowledge you have about a certain topic, I think it's easier to go out and talk to people, engage with the community around the certain area or topic you're in. If you're very confident, if you sit down and you actually really you learn, you have a passion for it, then you speak from the heart and not from the mind, and you might not be scared, I don't want to talk to those people, I don't want to say that and stuff. Because if you speak from the heart, I think that might just be easier for people who are introverted. I can't speak for it myself. I'm very extroverted. I can talk to pretty much anyone. But that's what my friends do a lot. They have an easier time talking to people about something they're passionate and confident about versus talking about, something they aren't as knowledgeable about and stuff. I think that's the answer I have. But yeah, thank you for the question.
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is, were there any tech-related house rules growing up? Example, limited screen time, security awareness, and does it help?
I think we had some rules, but did it help? No. I think most parents, they set up some, I would call them guidance for this. But I think our biggest problem is probably the mobile phone. I don't know how about you, but it feels like they're always connected, and it's actually something that we try to tell them. But we didn't set out, I think, rules, hard rules around this. We wanted to guide them more, to say, okay, what is it that you're missing out on, right? So, for example, let's say that we land in a new country, and my son or Caroline or myself are sitting watching on the phone. We're missing out on the world. So I think this is something that we can all be better at. But again, we also love the technology aspect to this. And I'm actually learning so much from the kids, things that I didn't know. Like yesterday, I learned a new feature that Caroline showed me. And it's actually kind of funny because in our family, in the beginning, they started calling me if they had some tech issues. Who do they call now? She took over that role especially.
I think also, for your question, my parents didn't have any like strict rules. They were very like just guidance more than rules, I think, because you can only teach, like you can only guide your kids to a certain age, and then they get involved with friends and they're in school and stuff, and then they become their own person and stuff. So you can only influence kids to a certain age. And I think my parents did a great job at that and just guiding us and teaching us the right values and morals, because you know, it's all about like being a good person and having the right mindset and values and morals and stuff. And I think for your screen time question as well, I'm definitely very attached to my phone, and I mean, I lived on the other side of the world in the US, and I was always like, you know, talking to my friends or my family at home just on my phone and maybe not getting the full experience. But I think I'm also very, like my brother and I are very engaged with like family life and my parents' work and stuff, so I don't think they ever had to enforce too strict of rules, because we just naturally just did it, I guess. But I think it is definitely important to guide your kids, and just I think it's the most important thing to teach them the right values and morals and stuff, because that will get them furthest.
I think we have one more left. Any brave one asking a question? I think this gentleman over here took his hand up. This gentleman over here in the gray shirt.
This would be the last question.
Yes.
As we have a time constraint.
Yeah.
What's the common stereotype in the IT industry that you thought it wasn't true?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
What is the common stereotype in the IT industry that you thought isn't true?
Yeah. A normal stereotype that is not true
In the IT industry. It's for her.
Yeah.
Question is for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, so I don't know. I think I honestly think it's like the age of people. I always thought that like IT was just like old men behind a screen, you know, like just, and I think getting around like with my parents and stuff, and like going to things like this and conferences like this and seeing how young women and like young guys as well are just very engaged and just very, very hardworking is great to see, because I think it's widely perceived that IT is like a men's thing. It's like a guy's sport, as you can call it. But just seeing how many women are actually in it is very powerful to see. Like my host mom, she's good. Like she's really powerful, and the work she does is she's really hardworking and stuff. And I think that's very like stereotypical to see, just like it's a men's thing. Like it's guys that does it. And it's great to see so many young women being so engaged and wanting to work hard and be a part of the different communities and stuff. So I think that's great to see.
I want to add to that. My wife actually, when she started to become engaged in Experts Live and she started helping, I remember her first sentence when she came back: "They are actually not all nerds. They are actually normal people." Right? So we are normal people, right? Of course we are all nerds, but again, we are passionate, right? That's a different thing. All right, guys, thank you for having us here.
Thank you. We appreciate the effort you have taken to share the knowledge with us.
Now I request Mr. Samir Mhesekar sir to come up on the stage.
Brief introduction.
No, I'll just brief them.
Brief and we'll have a lunch.
Hello. Thank you, thank you. I am not here for a session, not yet. I'm just here to tell you guys that we have more sessions coming up. Abhi, we will go out for lunch. But yes, we are all hungry, yes. We'll go out for lunch, but I'm here to just request you guys to please also come back because we've got other great sessions also planned. We've got some GenAI stuff that everybody loves, right? Lalit is here. He will talk about the past, present, and future of GenAI. Guys, please, just 1 second. I won't take a lot of your time. Just 1 second. Together, Lalit will talk about GenAI. Saurabh will talk about working with the GenAI tools as a developer, because as you may know, developers are probably one of the biggest group of people who is scared of GenAI in the recent times. So he will guide you about how to work around the GenAI hype and GenAI tools and all that. And then I will just give you a brief about the technologies that make up the GenAI, so that you can, when you go out in the real world and you attend some real sessions from the technology, you can actually understand and follow what is being talked about, right? So we have 3 good sessions. They won't take much of your time, maybe 30 minutes each. So that's what I'm here for, just to request you to please come back. Yeah, thank you.
Student, please sit. Please be seated. First, dignitaries will leave the hall for the lunch, and for the next session, we have to come back at exactly at 2 o'clock. Guys, at the last, please be seated. Just a minute. Thank you for this inspiring and beautiful sessions.